we all know how Professor Lakshminarayan sir has been a great support to us during Rohith Vemula movement, and also we ensure on behalf of everybody who is present in the auditorium, I want to tell that we all will stand in support with Professor KLN in his fight against BJP and the Manwad Chamchas on campus. Next, we have with us Prakash Ambedkar, who is popularly known as Bala Saheb. He is a grandson of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He is an Indian politician and lawyer. He is a national leader of Bharipa Bahujan Mahasangh, and also he has represented twice in Lok Sabha constituency, and also has served in both the houses of Indian Parliament. Now I call upon Prakash Ambedkar sir to deliver his speech.
Dear friends, members on the dais, I know I have been called to speak earlier because I have to leave also. Institutions after institutions are being affected, and this is not a new phenomena. Let's see. During our days in college also, we faced the same situation what you are facing. We didn't have technology that you have today. It was a raw student day I may call for. But at the same time, it was a full society. What I mean by full society is, what I am now saying is a choice of education. During our school days, college days, we had a choice of education. Students were less and more seats. And therefore, not many competitions for at the admission stage. But after the admission stage was over and he was admitted, his trouble began. And what we are facing today is the same thing. I had a friend of mine who was in the college. Today what you see is 50%. That every post-graduation, graduation, or wherever you qualify, even after your 12th standard, you have a minimum of 50%. That you can say is because of my friend. Because we both did inter-science, and I left inter-science, went into arts. He was interested in going for engineering, and he had only 42%. In Mumbai, you have the VCTI where the one seat was vacant, and then we asked the principal whether you could admit. He said, yes, we could admit him. He got the admission. After 3 months, he said, no, this is bad and I want to go for medical. We had the KM hospital, which has a medical college also. They also had one vacancy. Got his TC, admitted him to medical college. He studied there for first semester, second semester, and then he says, forget it, I don't want to do all these things. And later on in his life, he became a draftsman. And he became an expert draftsman. The university thought to add that here is a student who is getting only 42% in inter-science, and he is qualified. And therefore, the embargo of 50%, I think so, is the grace of my friend where everybody has to face now. No doubt we are facing a situation which is discriminatory. This discrimination existed during my college days also. I don't say no. If you look at some of the reports that have come from 74 to 1984, 1986 to be very precise, in those faculties where Viva was compulsory. Because Viva is one place where you come to know the student and everything about the student. So it becomes very easy for the examiner to decide whether to pass him or to fail him. And in his Viva, if he gets good marks, and if you see the written examination, he was just qualifying. But those who did well in written examination, when it came to Viva, his results were bad. So these were the situations that we were facing during our college days. As I said, you have the advantage of technology. We didn't have the advantage of technology. For the first time, a small recorder was introduced. And then some of the students who had the guts, I will say so, put the recorder in his pocket and record the whole Viva. And when we reheard the whole Viva, the question that was asked for the medical students, how many steps have you climbed? Which was not related to a subject, it was a Fox Sports project. But those who had the instinct to understand what is being asked, he says 70. The examiner doesn't know it is 70, he doesn't know whether it is 70, but he has fired an answer. And when the examiner comes to know that he is a little street smart, they would try to fox pose him in another manner. We got all the recorders, and one day we sat with all the examiners. I said, do you want this to get published? And if you want to get published, I said, well and good, we will do it. And once it gets published, I think so it will be all over the state and you will have to face the show. What I'm trying to say is, there is going to be a discriminatory process, but within that discriminatory process, you must have a means in which you can fox pose him also. Because he is also worried for his life, that you must understand. It is not a one-way traffic, it's a double-way traffic. थोड़ी सी हिम्मत मैं कहता हूं, थोड़ी सी हिम्मत, थोड़ी सी सूझबूझ, थोड़ी सी अकल, ये तो बदमाश लोग हैं, इनको अगर हम लोग ट्रैप करें, if we can trap these, let me tell you, we had peace in the state. But there is said that between 74 to 80, if there were 100 scheduled caste students, you can say 90 would fail. They had to appear, get frustration and get out the examination. That was the methodology that was used. We fought against the university in saying that no, you can't restrict him in his attempt. If he wants to continue with his attempt, you should give him a chance till he completes the age of 30. When it became sure that till the age of 30 he has a chance of clearing his semesters, there was some lull because they were searching out from other methodology, other methods where they could arrest the progress of the students. And therefore, my advice is to you, yes, there is a discriminatory system. It is going to persist. It's going to remain. And now, we have a government which is itself propagating discrimination. It is itself supporting discrimination. It is itself seeing that the chaos are created in this country. And they want this chaos only for the simple reason then you can blame the system. And once you blame the system, then you can go in for the change of a system. And when you go in for a change of system, whatever little checks and balances are there, they are taken off and they have a system which they want. We have to be very careful. But today there is a regime which speaks of changing everything. And changing it for their own benefits. And therefore, our first duty is to see that whatever is there is kept intact, is retained. We might not improve upon it, but we have to retain it. We just can't stop where we retained it. We have to go a step further. We have to articulate where we move towards a casteless society. Whether we might achieve in our lifetime, I can't say. But a movement has to be built. Issue of new agenda has to be projected. We can't say we are going to remain stagnant at what we are. The society has to be kept dynamic. It's only when you keep the society dynamic that the imagination of the people get fired. If you keep it idly, it is the historical forces who are going to fill up these vacancies and gaps, and then they are going to lay down the agenda, and once they lay down the agenda, we are in the process of reacting to it. We should first decide that we are not going to be reactionaries anymore. By being reactionary, we are just restating the fact that we have reached our plateau. We have reached our goal. And there is nothing left now to be achieved, and therefore we talk of retention. As I have said that the goal should be towards a casteless society. I said we might achieve, we might not achieve. We know there is a large number of younger generation who has just been not able to accommodate, I said. The era of fulfillment, what we saw, and the error of deficiency that we are seeing today is a contradiction in life which I am seeing myself. This error of deficiency needs to be addressed. And when the error of deficiency is addressed, you will find people moving in a different direction. Professor rightly said, caste is a notion. It's an illusion. And this notion and illusion becomes very strong in a period of deficiency. Because of deficiency, everybody would like to have a share of cake. And to get that cake, piece of cake, then he uses all methods. Therefore, if you have to bring a casteless society, one of the first issue is we have to aim towards sufficiency. And how do we bring about sufficiency? The first thing which thinks to my mind that we have to fire the imaginations of those who have been left out. Those who have been brought into the system, yes, they are accommodated. But those who have been left out have not been accommodated, and therefore their struggle is for accommodation. And how do we bring about? I know when I was in Parliament in the 90s, there was a long struggle which Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar couldn't do it in the Constituent Assembly, that primary education should be compulsory. To make it compulsory, it was clubbed with age, that is 14 years. N number of NGOs fought for it. We got the government agree for it, that primary education should be compulsory and the constitution should be amended. But when it came to the age, difference of opinion arose with the government, because they wanted to make it compulsory, but to see that the student doesn't complete his 10th standard. And therefore government stuck to 14, whereas we were insisting upon 17. 1 year grace. Even within the NGOs, there were many groups. One was in favor, saying that, okay, principally they are making it compulsory, compromise on it. Some were saying that even if we principally compromise on it, the students are not going to be benefited. Lastly, it was decided, let the government has its way, we will stay neutral, and staying neutral, you can say, the bill was carried, constitution was amended, primary education was made compulsory, but government will bear the burden only up to the age of 14. And we all know, all students who come to the age of 14 around about 7th or 8th standard. So 9th and 10th, there is no support from the government, and therefore you still find the dropout rate very high in this country. There was a lot of struggle, I may say so, during those periods. I think so we have to move further down that. The real competition is not in the primary education, the real competition is in the graduation. And here a new policy needs to be led. At those periods there were crisis of resources, but today there is no such financial crisis. And therefore, as a student movement, we should adopt, articulate the concept of choice of education. Every student should have a choice of education. And in that choice of education, what should be the qualifying, let public decide it. You are bringing a new agenda. You want people to participate. Those who have been left out will have a chance of coming into the system. Unless and until we learn to lay a new agenda before this country, it is always the casteist forces will have the upper hand. If you don't want the casteist forces to have the upper hand, we must learn to lead the society. And if you want to lead the society, laying of agenda is the most important. I have just placed before you a few points. I know there are a lot of speakers. They will also contribute with it. We all have gathered over here for Rohith Vemula ji. We say, yes, his wishes should be brought into practice. They should be fulfilled. By bringing in new agendas as he thought of would be one of the best tributes that we would be paying him. With these words, I take my leave. Thank you.